All right, welcome to Gun Talk Nation. This week, Gun Talk Nation is brought to you by Timney Triggers. Timney Triggers has triggers to meet any need: hunting, target shooting, competition. The new DH3 two-stage adjustable trigger was created by multi-gun champion Daniel Horner and Timney engineers, and is the ultimate AR-style trigger, ready to withstand a lifetime of competitions. Or maybe the AR-10 or AR-15 competition trigger is more your speed. Find out more at timneytriggers.com. While you're at it, become a member of the Timney Rewards program to unlock exciting perks. Whoa, perks! And exclusive rewards. Hey, we like perks.
We like perks.
Daniel Horner, he fast.
Daniel Horner.
If there's anybody who's sitting there thinking, who's this Daniel Horner guy? You just go watch him shoot. You'll buy the trigger, and then you go, oh, okay, yeah, I trust him designing a trigger.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He fast.
So welcoming into Gun Talk Nation this week, his first time on this particular show, Mr. Nick Collier from DoubleStar Corporation. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Actually, Nick is a bona fide three-gunner, so he can speak to Daniel Horner and his roboticness craziness.
And his dad is the match director of the Blue Ridge Mountain 3-gun, which is what we sponsored for, I think we did it for 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I got to spend a lot more time with Andy than I had with Daniel, but I have shot with Daniel, and I can't figure out how he does it.
Yeah, even when you see it.
Is it like, so I kind of liken, like, if I were to go up against Daniel Horner, along with every other person, it's back when I used to run marathons, and I would be on mile like 20, and here comes a Kenyan right behind me, and he zooms past me and almost laps me. Is that about like what it is like running a competition with Daniel Horner?
Well, I'll be honest. One time we shot a match, and there was 15-second bonus stage, or to add on to your time. They ended up throwing it out at the end because Daniel would have been in negative time if they had kept the bonus. Nobody else, just Daniel.
He is. He's the Kenyan of AR shooting.
He's the Usain Bolt of three-gunning, yes.
Yeah.
And everywhere he went, he ran. It wasn't like get up, walk to get your award. He jogged up there, got it, jogged back to his chair.
Yeah,
he's fast either way. Any way he goes, he just does everything fast.
Goes fast.
100 and something pounds of, and you think like, really? And this guy will go, oh, okay, we're done.
And he doesn't stop. Like, I have to stop and shoot stuff. He just shoots it on his way to wherever he's going.
I mean, that's the secret. You watch him, you go, well, I know how he's doing this. He just keeps moving and shooting. Yeah. It's just, it's one thing to say, I see how he's doing that, but I'm not going to hit anything.
That's how it works for me.
Yeah, it's a little bouncy.
His side picture, he's so smooth. His side picture has to be as level as possible to be able to shoot that fast. And he's not running, some super tricked out gun that only he can get. And it's not the equipment. No. I think that's one thing that guys get so pigeonholed in, is they think good equipment's going to make up for lack of talent.
That's in every hobby, every single hobby. Right. Golf, guitars, cars. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I don't know. Watching guys compete like that, the whole Michael Jordan series came out, and he was on just a different level. And I truly believe with the talented guys like that, like Max Michel, they were going to go pro in something.
Yep.
Right.
They just happened to choose the shooting sports, and thank goodness they did.
Right. And sometimes people are just better than you at stuff.
So, Nick, what's the deal with three-gun? Why is it so fun? Why you like it?
I like it because I was never in the military. I was never what you would call formally trained by somebody like that. You can go in somewhere to these shooting ranges that have it set up, and you don't have to know anything. People welcome you in. They're glad you're there. If you don't have the stuff you need, they're glad to share what they have. It's happened several times, a couple times to me, and then likewise to other people. And then you just get to do things that you don't get to do at your sportsman's club, if you will.
They don't sit there and mock you.
No.
They absolutely mock you.
But they'll help you too.
Yeah,
but like my grade school years,
Right, exactly. But it's more positive. It's positive mocking.
Yeah. Well, that's a thing, I think.
Motivational mocking.
Well, it's like your buddies, throwing jabs at you. It's fun. And some matches, anything Bruce Davidson puts on, like the Rock Hard, he's part of the Blue Line 3-gun, which benefits a bunch of police. He puts it in the stage brief that heckling is encouraged.
I like it.
Yeah.
It is funny if you think about it, like how certain sports, it's frowned upon to do that. And then certain sports, it's like, that'd be crazy if you didn't.
Right. And but it is match to match on that, because I've also been at matches where somebody said something and the shooter got penalized for something somebody said standing behind them.
Oh,
so that's a good point. It's not every match that you can do that.
Right. You need to.
I could totally see something like me showing up at a match where that's not allowed, and I'm just giving it to every shooter out there.
Yep.
I get pulled behind the shed and just beat like a mule.
Well, there are certain matches where you could be in a squad and you're going, you missed one, go back. And you're thinking you're helping, and other people are like, you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll get mad at you for that.
That's what happened. Was the shooter was going through and was moving between kind of two arrays, and somebody in the back hollered, reload, and they both got a procedural penalty, the shooter and the person who spoke.
Wow.
And I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, geez, take it easy, RO.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Everybody went,
Okay.
I am the RO. I have the power.
So Nick, you're also, that dovetails very nicely into, you'd be a handy guy to have around at a 3-gun match, because you're also an armor.
That's right. That's right.
And so we were emailing back and forth, and explain what an armor is first for our listening audience.
Okay, so here, a lot of our parts come in as just that, just parts, just springs, pins, ball bearings. An armor is basically, if you're good at Legos, you can work on ARs. It's not super, there's not a lot of fitting to it. Most mil spec, which that's the good thing about a mil spec, is things are made to a certain spec and usually will go together pretty easy. The problems you run into, the next level of that is if you have a problem and knowing how to hunt it down and fix it before you have a bigger problem, or no problems at all, and it fixes itself, which also happens. Like a car, when you take it to the mechanic and it's making a noise and he can't make it do it, we have that happen too.
Yeah.
Well, so DoubleStar, for people who don't know, a little background, I guess. DoubleStar is a company that is known for a lot of AR-15 parts, building ARs, lowers, uppers, everything from like you said, the detent spring to a full gun. Right. Yep. And lots of really cool stuff, like cool furniture, but also 1911s. Are you guys still doing 1911s?
We do. We still do 1911s. And of course, we've got our blade line as well.
Yep. So. They got knives. Oh, yeah.
They,
cool knives.
They actually had just recently launched a stock, right?
That is correct. Now, we also own Ace Limited, which you may or may not be familiar with, depending on what line you come from, but Ace started out as more AK stuff, and then they had the original owner. It was a college project for him.
Okay.
And he did the original stock, and then it kind of, just ballooned out. And then the SOCOM stock ended up as the Mod H. It's the official stock for that. So a lot of people buy those for doing reproductions of those guns. But, we released a billet triangle AK stock.
I saw that.
It's basically an updated version, a stronger version, and a much nicer version of the old triangle AK stocks that are out there. And it's made to work with any of our Ace receiver blocks and our folding mechanism. So you put it on pretty much anything. We make blocks for a lot of stuff. Well,
and billets, we were talking about billet last time you were down here with us. For those who don't understand, that's a big deal. It's super duper strong. Give them a little billet talk here.
Well, billet comes out
breakdown.
Billet breakdown.
There you go. So you're cutting it out of a block of steel or block of aluminum. I'm sorry, instead of having an extrusion, which is cut and then pinned, or a stamping, which is made of a much weaker material. So basically, you're, in a triangle stock, you've got those 3 angles, which ours has 4, but don't tell anybody. The real one does too. Even Jack looked at it and went, but there's 4 angles there. And I said, Jack, I didn't name it. It was that way from the beginning.
It looks triangle-y.
Right. But, the billet stocks are going to be able to bash doors in and, knock hinges off doors and things like that, where a stamp stock is not going to have that because they're pinned together.
Right. So it's carved out of one block.
One block. Yep.
That's cool.
Okay. I want to go back to the armor stuff, because I'm sitting here thinking, I've worked on ARs, and I'm a tinkerer. Like, I'm not a gunsmith, I'm not an armor, but I'll tear stuff apart. You've got to have some good stories.
He will break stuff.
Breaking stuff. Because
Ivan Drago.
The first time I tried to install actually, it was trying to install a Timney trigger. I had springs going everywhere, and I didn't have any backup. So I spent about a good hour and 20 minutes sitting, looking on the floor, trying to find a tiny spring.
Right.
That happens.
Well, we have a lot of. Well, I've been here a little over 18 years now, so I've gotten a lot of people who have called in and had problems, or kind of had the same story you had. Well, I was putting this together and I lost a spring, which we make what we call it. Well, several different kits, but one called an oops kit that's made just for that.
The parts that get lost, right?
Yeah.
Right. Those little pins and detents and springs that people tear up or lose. And it's like a $15 little parts kit. We do a field repair kit, and it's got a few more things in it, like a firing pin and things that wear over time. But we recommend everybody put one of those in a tool bag just for that reason.
Or two.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Those are really nice to have, because people do, in fact, lose things. And I'm going to, you asked me about that, so I started thinking about some of my favorite stories. So I'm going to tell you, I have 2 gas tube stories, because, every AR needs a gas tube, unless it's piston, obviously, or a 9mm. See, it's all weird now. Used to be all of them. I had a fella call me and order 3 gas tubes. Now, if you're familiar with gas tubes, they have a bend in them, because it comes out of the front sight, it goes into the upper, and it's got a slight bend and back into it. And he called me after that, and he said, hey, man, listen, I ordered those 3 gas tubes from you last week, and I got them in, and every one of them were bent. And I was getting ready to say, that's okay. They're supposed to be that way. But he cut me off. He said, but don't worry, I'm an engineer. And I straightened them out.
Oh, good. Thank you. Right? So how's that working for you?
He did these gas tubes and made them straight. I thought it was impressive.
Yeah.
And then he says, but I can't make it fit now. Like, it doesn't want to go in. I think something's wrong. And I said, yeah, your gas tubes are straight. He said, what do you mean? I said, that bend was supposed to be there. That's the distance you need to raise up a little bit. And he kind of got quiet. And he said, I'd like to order 3 more gas tubes. So he was cool. Like, he knew he did it, and he was like, you know what? That's on me.
That's funny. I love it. But he's an engineer. He's going, no, I promise they are perfectly straight. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, they're perfectly straight.
I'm surprised he didn't sit there and ask you guys if you guys were hiring engineers.
Well, we have that every now and then.
So gas tubes is a recurring issue here, huh?
Right. So the next one I'm going to tell you about is, I don't see them much anymore, but there was a phase, I don't know if you guys remember, where the pigtail gas tube was popular.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Remember those? They're the long tubes, and they were wrapped. You slide them around the barrel, and it gave you a full-length gas tube, but car length, right?
Okay, sure.
In it, so you could put it on. Well, this guy called me. It was for short barrels to slow down the action, and this guy called me. He said, man, my buddy got one of them pigtail gas tubes, and it's awesome. I got to have one. And I said, well, what are you going to put it on? And he told me it was a short barrel, 11 and a half, 10 and a half, something like that. And I said, well, are you having problems with your gun right now? Is it not running? Is there a malfunction? He goes, no. And I said, buddy, if I was you, I'd leave it alone.
I'd like to cause one, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, buddy, if I was you, I'd leave it alone. No, I really like to have one. So, I mean, basically, this was like a $90 gas tube.
Yikes.
And I tried every way in the world to get him not to buy it, which you don't get that from everybody. That's good customer service. But he kept on and kept on fine. I was like, you know what? You want it? That's fine. So I sent it to him. And he calls me back the next week after he gets it and puts it on. He says, man, this thing won't run.
Yeah. Right.
We did discuss this. He said, man, I'm going to have to send it back. And I said, you can send it back, but I'm not giving you your money back.
Yeah, I warned you.
I told you, you know.
There are some of us who cannot leave well enough alone.
Right.
And actually probably there's a lot of us in the gun world that are that way. It's like, especially hunters, especially competition shooters.
Oh, yeah.
Why hunters? Why hunters?
Come on now.
No, I want to know. I want to hear an example because
I don't want to like ruin just shatter everyone's little box they're in, but you can pretty much kill everything in North America with a 30-06 with a 3.9 scope.
Yeah.
But we can't help ourselves.
Oh,
we
no.
gotta tinker.
The companies need to stop coming out with some new stuff.
Well, I'm saying all that, but we're gonna edit all of this out of the show because we need sponsors. So
That's right. That's right.
And frankly,
I agree with you.
I think it was Jay Guthrie is the one that was like, yeah, you could do that, but that's boring. Nobody wants to open up their gun safe and show their buddies their one rifle.
True.
We like variety.
That's it.
That is true. We do like variety, but I don't think it's always true because what we're talking about is taking an existing gun and turning it into something that it's not supposed to be.
So, KJ, have you ever taken a perfectly good gun and
tried something that it wasn't supposed to be? No. Now I will change out my triggers, but that's only enhancing the gun. I'm not trying to turn it into something like Nick says and say.
I feel like recently there was something about a Dremel tool and
that gun needed more grip. I needed more grip.
Very slick handle.
Just not grippy enough.
I've got these baby soft hands that really like the gun grips just slip right through.
He gets the Johnson & Johnson lotion, and he's just he sleeps with little gloves. Sleeps with little gloves on. He's George Costanza. He's a hand model.
Yes, that's exactly right. But see, that's more competition. I don't know. I agree
the competition guys will do it for sure.
The competition guys are for sure that way. And you have some stories even about guys that are doing stuff to their competition guns, and people are saying you don't want to, change out the trigger or lighten the slide because you may, it may not recycle or run exactly right.
Well, I actually have a story about that. I'm not much of a tinkerer. I'm actually on the other side of. I probably should do a little more tinkering, but I'm like, that's fine. Just pull it out of the box, start shooting it. I was actually in Mexico a couple of years back for a shooting competition. It was mainly a sporting clays, a clays competition, but they had a little side event for 3-gun in Mexico, which is interesting. There's a lot of restrictions of, what you would use for 3-gun down there. It's just way different. Well, civilians can't own anything bigger than a 380 ACP. This is my understanding. If I'm wrong, somebody call me on it, but this is the way it was explained to me. So I got to shoot a Glock, and I wish I could remember the model number of it, but it's basically a Glock 19 or Glock 17, but it's in 380. So you can't buy it in the US. They don't sell it here. But I was like, well, that's neat. I get to shoot this Glock that's in 380 ACP. Only problem is he was a competition shooter, and he had tweaked it and done this with the slide and the trigger and this and that. And it kind of ran on like half the rounds. It was like constantly malfunctioning.
Yeah.
You see that all the time in competitions, don't you, Nick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's some guns that are notorious who they will remain nameless out of respect for others in the industry, but that notoriously jam. There's others that people will reload their ammo just hot enough to make it work, and they don't always get it right. So
low recoil, but also low running the bolt.
yeah, exactly. With ARs, it's gas. People adjust the gas, get those adjustable gas blocks, and tweak them all the way down until they just barely work. And with the combination of a lightweight carrier and a lightweight buffer, I mean, you're really starting. We have one shooter. I love him to death, but he likes to fix stuff till it's broke. All the time. We're just telling him, dude, we sent it to you and it works. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Can't help him.
But we love him, so we can't help it.
What's other stuff that you see coming in? Because you have all these people who are calling you guys when they're working on their builds. Mm-hmm. And I know that you hear from people doing it right and doing it wrong. And you guys actually teach armorers classes too, don't you?
That's right. Yeah, we teach a basic AR armorers course right now. But when all this blows over, we're actually looking at doing some just basic firearms knowledge courses for some local or, anybody that wants to come to Winchester, Lexington area and learn. Because, you got a lot of new gun owners right now. So we feel like that would be a good place to properly instruct people rather than let them get to the range and learn the hard way. Mm-hmm. So we'll have that coming too. But, we get people all the time. I actually have some things over here that I pulled from the wall of shame, if you will.
Yeah.
Being that this is a podcast, it's a little bit of show and tell, but mostly tell and tell.
That's okay. Well, we'll be very descriptive, but I'll show the ones watching. This is a muzzle brake that was pinned on, and it has been put in a vise and turned to try and twist off, and it's pulled all the coating off. It's gotten down into the meat.
It's so marred. That is awful.
So they had a muzzle brace. It was a muzzle brace that was on the gun.
Muzzle brake, yeah.
Muzzle brake. And it looks like, and if you're listening on the podcast,
it's a screw muzzle brake.
And it looks like they took a plumber's wrench to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just tried to wrench down on it to get it to unscrew.
And you can see on the back part there where they took something and tried to beat it to death.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pile on that dog pile. Let's just go ahead and beat it. Jeez.
So
they were really mad at that muzzle brake
on our postman gun. So this is actually quite, I don't know, back in the ban era, whenever 2004, right? That's when it sunsetted.
Yep.
Wow. The next one, this is a common problem. I want to tell your people about this. Please be careful when you're working with your buttstock. Your collapsible buttstocks have a ridge right in the middle on the bottom. Mm-hmm. There's also an egg plate there that you use to secure your spring and detent in the back of the lower receiver. That plate must move with the tube. You cannot twist the tube and not twist the egg plate. Well, you can. But you tear the threads off of your buffer tube.
So the buffer tube, and when you're talking about AR-15s and stocks on there.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something you definitely got to watch out for. This one is a 300 blackout. Or they thought it was a 300 blackout.
In its former life.
But now it's a 5.56. And, spoiler alert, it was a 5.56 when they started.
Oh.
So they bought it from us. And
This is an upper they bought?
Yeah, they bought the whole upper and with the bolt.
Okay.
They put 300 blackout in a 5.56.
And they got it to go off?
Here's that. See, that's the story. With the DoubleStar bolt and carrier, it wouldn't work just like it's supposed to.
Okay.
They switched it to another brand who will remain nameless because I respect people in the industry. And it worked. And it ended up blowing the bottom of the bolt carrier out of it.
Wow.
Through the magazine. It worked. The blowout worked like it was supposed to. It went through the mag, went out the bottom.
Jeez.
Which is a great thing, except for old boy was wearing flip-flops.
No.
So that is a big no-no.
Don't wear flip-flops basically ever when you're shooting.
That's a good PSA.
Yeah. Safety equipment is important. And for somebody, I'm sure you guys have had the same experience, but that has caught in several splashbacks. Mm-hmm. You don't ever want to not have your glasses or good shoes or anything like that on because this guy's toe was a little chewed up.
I was about to say, so it blew the magazine out the bottom of the gun down onto his flip-flop.
Right. And the back pressure, I mean, it's locked up now. As you can see, we took the barrel nut off, but there's no way we can get this thing loose.
Wow.
I mean, it's in there tight.
That's a good point. So 300 Blackout is actually, it's got some legs. I mean, it was a hot cartridge, and sometimes hot cartridges come and go. Seems like that one is got some longevity to it. It's going to stick around. It has a nice niche that it can fill. And you can load 300 Blackout into regular AR 5.56 mags.
Right.
But they're not supposed to be able to shoot in a 5.56 223 AR.
Because it uses the same bolt.
Because it uses the same bolt too, right?
Right.
So, what would you be? Do you have any thoughts or suggestions on, for people that have both types of guns, or they want to make sure they're not messing this up?
Yeah, I think mark your mags.
Yeah,
is very important. Mark your barrels where you can see them. Now, if you're young and have good eyes and you can look at the barrel and know what you're looking at, good. If you're not, wrap some tape around it, a piece of blue tape or something. Yeah. So you know this gun is a different caliber than this one. Yeah. They also, there's the dust covers. I've seen dust covers that are marked 300 Blackout 5.56. Yeah. So you can, again, at a glance, you can see it. But the main thing is make it to where when you look at it, you know that it's a 300 Blackout or a 5.56 instead of whatever your system is. I have P-mags that I use to hunt with, and I just leave them. Those are the 300 Blackouts. Well, those are the only P-mags I have that have windows. Yeah. And I also took a soldering gun and basically rough scribbled 300 in the side of it so I could see it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's something you could do because ARs can really look the same, if you're not paying attention. And certainly if maybe you got someone out to the range with you who's not a gun enthusiast or expert, right. It'd be worth just as a fun exercise, and you get some safety out of it, to go, I'm going to on purpose make this 300 Blackout gun look different than the 5.56. Because, I'm going to swap out the grip. I'm going to swap out, and you guys have stuff for that. I mean, a lot of people do, but that'd be kind of a reason to do it as safety, as well as just like, all right, I want OD green furniture on this AR.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't see when you grab that gun, so the color doesn't really matter. That's why I like using. I like the tape method. I'll use a textured tape. That way, if I'm at night and I grab that gun, I know whether a tape. If I feel that tape, that is a 300 Blackout. I know without a doubt. I don't have to sit there and try to read it. It's just it's a tactile, grip that I can feel.
I like that idea, because if you think about it, if like you're talking about like even as simple as like grip tape or something, you grab it, you get used to it. And and down here we're talking about, probably you're thinking, KJ, in the dirty South, we'll go night hog hunting. Yeah. And you grip the gun and it's not grippy like grip tape. You go, wait a minute, what gun is this? Yeah.
It's a different feel, and man, so there's sometimes when we're out when you can't see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more. This was a barrel that.
Oh, that's a barrel that has been blowed up.
So there is a split.
Yeah, you can see my eyes in there. That's not good.
Yeah, so this is a barrel, just for those listening. It's split all the way down the barrel. What did they do, Nick?
Top to bottom.
Squib round. So they had a squib round. They had a reload that wasn't quite right.
Yep.
And they pulled the trigger and it went down, and then they pulled the trigger again, and the second round was just like it was supposed to be. And it
boom.
Didn't have anywhere to go. So away it went through the top of the barrel or the bottom of the barrel.
That's a great reminder. If you were shooting, especially semi-autos, if you're shooting and you hear something or feel something that's weird, stop. Stop right now. And you've got to keep the gun down range. You got to look at it and go, what just happened? Yeah. And it's a problem if you're kind of doing like a rapid fire thing, you could get yourself in trouble quickly.
Again, wear proper safety gear.
Yeah. It'll save your bacon.
This is why. We also had we have an HK G36K that we were shooting, and it was, we had it and a crank. And I had a new guy that we had taken out with us shooting, and I said, listen, you got to be careful. This is a 5.56. The crank shoots 5.45. They're very close. They're going to fit in the mag. You got to watch. Well, guess what happened?
Yeah.
He loaded half a mag and walked off. Somebody else picked up the mag, put 5.56 in it. The bottom of it was full of 5.45. And emptied till it hit the 5.45. And then it jammed the gun up to where basically I had to take the gun apart, muzzle down range. They shut the entire line down. Everybody stopped to watch.
They're loving you.
Right. And I was like, oh, man, come on. When I figured out what happened. And that ended up being a real pain in the butt because it was a live round in this barrel. And I ended up taking it home in pieces and then tapping it out here at the shop. And that was real nerve-wracking.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, we've had a couple experiences like that. So was that at the big machine gun shoot up there in
it was
Kentucky?
at that same range, but it wasn't the big machine gun shoot.
So
it was a shoot set up by AR15.com, a local, like they call it a hometown shoot.
Yeah.
So
tell people about this big machine gun shoot.
Oh, Knob Creek, man.
Knob Creek
machine gun shoot. If you have not experienced Knob Creek machine gun shoot,
we got to go.
You got to go. It is by far the biggest example of freedom I have ever been a part of.
Yes.
There are so many machine guns and so many different, just if you love firearms and you love history, go to the machine gun shoot. If you love explosion.
If you love just people watching and seeing all walks of life come out to those things, ooh, hold on to your sippy cup, kids, because it gets interesting.
It's awesome. I love every minute of it. And it's an outdoor show.
It's an outdoor show.
Yep.
It's like over a weekend?
Yeah, now they've taken and made it Friday and Saturday only. It used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but really Friday and Saturday were the hot days.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, and it runs from 9 to 9, so it's 12 hours of freedom, liberty.
Wow.
Slinging happiness all over the place. They've got food there. They have really, really nice porta-johns.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fancy.
But, we get in there on Wednesday, and we don't leave usually until used to be anyway, till Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it used to be like we'd get there at 7, and we'd be there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And when things were really booming, it was worse than that. So it's a long show, and it's outside, and it used to be all gravel in the pole barn, which was a huge pain in the butt to the point where we would bring our own. We still do it, but we bring our own, like the old floor from SHOT Show, the stuff that interlocks.
Yeah.
Right.
We bring our own and lay it down in the booth just because it was that bad.
So where does it take place?
It's at Knob Creek Machine Gun Shoot. It's in Bullitt County, Kentucky. It's right outside of Louisville. If you want to fly into Louisville, and it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from our shop. But it is definitely worth seeing at least one time in your life.
You can
Summertime?
definitely tell Nick is a true Kentuckian because he pronounces it Louisville.
That's right. No, actually, it's twice a year. It's usually the first weekend of April and the first weekend of October.
Okay. So we got our fingers crossed for October then.
Yeah. It was.
Is one bigger than the other?
Not really.
Kind of same.
Yeah. But, as far as just business trends for us, that's usually like the bookends. In October, things start to pick up. And then in April, it's not been that way this year, thank God. Thank you, baby Jesus. But is usually kind of the peak of the season. But it's really cool, man. Like I said, I've been going – well, like I said, about 19 years now, and I love it every time. It's a long show, but I love it.
So what people are thinking is, wait a minute, you have my attention, machine gun shoot.
Right.
Can anyone show up? Do they have to have a machine gun? Can they shoot machine guns? What do they need to know?
They need to know just to show up. If you're coming to buy, if you want cool stuff, maybe flying is a bad idea.
Maybe drive.
That's the kind of stuff you can put in your carry-on.
TSA. This is all not TSA friendly kind of stuff, which we like.
Exactly. Right. But there's a huge pole barn where you can. It's a gun show.
Okay.
But it's like the best gun show you've ever been to. But they do have one big line where you can, where they have kind of the regulars and they have some really big guns, and they pull out like old cars and washing machines and boats. And I mean, just whatever they can find, and they stack it up and they put explosives on it. They have a night shoot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the mushroom clouds these things put off, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not safe. But I mean, you can feel the heat behind all the people under the pole barn where we're at. When those things go off, I can feel the heat, and they're way down range. But yes, you can rent guns there and shoot them too. They have a lower range where you can rent smaller guns, like rifles.
Right.
And then they have what they call a swamp, or what do they call it? Swamp walk, or then they have a pistol carbine match. They have a pistol match. So you can go in there if you've got, like, these guys run MP5s and Uzis and stuff, and they do these submachine gun matches. So they've got all kinds of stuff going on throughout the course of the day to keep you entertained. So you can watch that. You can go shop. You can go watch the big line. You don't have to go anywhere. You can camp there too. They've got a really nice place. Well, they have a really good place to camp.
Okay.
It's
That'd
outside.
That'd be fun. Go out there, camp, shoot machine guns, hang out.
Yeah. If I didn't work here and do that, I would camp and go. I mean, it's that much fun.
I think we have people's attention. Machine gun shoot. All right, Knob Creek machine gun shoot in Kentucky.
Now that we've plugged in, make sure you come by and see us while you're there.
That's right. So come see DoubleStar. I wanted to get that in there. So Nick, you guys have lots of cool stuff. How do they find out more about you guys?
Go visit us at doublestarusa.com. That is our main website, and that's where you can find guns, parts, blades. We also have doublestarblades.com if you're just a knife guy or girl. Don't want to leave anybody out. And then if you're looking for some of our surplus stuff, we still run jtdistributing.com as well.
Cool. Okay.
And of course, we're not going to get fully into this, but Pew Pew and Stabby. And when are the times that show runs? Because you guys just had one yesterday. Usually it's that Tuesday afternoon time frame, but it's if you're looking for an entertaining live show, that is a very good one.
Well, I appreciate it. We do it every Tuesday at 4:00 Eastern time. It's myself and Rob, our knife guy, and we come from very different backgrounds and talk about all kinds of crazy stuff.
And that's on your DoubleStar Facebook page, right?
Right. DoubleStar Facebook and Instagram Live, both of them. And then they're on there afterwards. So if you want to go check them out now, you can. One other thing I wanted to throw out there, the Mountain State 3-gun match in West Virginia is still on. We are a sponsor of that match now. And it is in Beckley, West Virginia at the Beckley Gun Club. And it is October 3rd and 4th.
Okay.
A lot of matches have been canceled. I know there's a lot of shooters looking for somewhere to go shoot.
Yeah.
And as of right now, that one is still on. So
cool.
Come check it out. It's a cool place. I've shot there several times now. James Long is the president. He's a good friend. His daughter Brittany is one of our shooters. And it's a really, really good match.
It's a pretty area of the world too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I grew up about an hour away from there. So It's kind of like going home for me, getting back in the mountains.
Yeah. Is Nick with his mountain people.
That's right.
Well, good, man. Nick, thanks for being on with Gun Talk Nation Day. We appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Anytime. I love hanging out with you fellas. You know that.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. And if you're interested, I think we found you a machine gun shoot to go to. So
that's right.
We'll see you next week on Gun Talk Nation.